Hello, pre-cal kiddos. This is your notes for 312. I will try to keep this short and sweet. I will hide a few fun facts about me in the video, so make sure you watch the whole thing because next class I am not only going to check your notes, but also going to ask you a couple of trivia questions to make sure you really watched it. Okay, so this is how do I find exponential functions. So definitely start a new page in your notebook. Right? Title it this stuff and then write this really big. That's our exponential function general form. Okay, pause it if you need to so you can write that down. All right, the goals for this is 1, to learn how to find an exponential function, there it is again, of the form y equals a times b to the x. Notice that the x is in the exponent. That's what makes it exponential. It's so exciting. And then it passes through 2 points. So we're going to figure out how to write our own equation. I know you're excited. Apply to a real world situation, kind of. We're going to do half-life, which hopefully you're talking about a little bit in chemistry. All right. Okay, find an exponential function. Here's our first one, so definitely write this down. Of the form, here it is again, guys, y equals ab to the x. It's called an exponential function that goes through 2, 18 and 4, 162. Okay, so step 1 is for us to write a system of equations using those two ordered pairs. So remember, you guys, that this is an xy coordinate for each of these, right? So I'm just going to label them. That's xy. That's xy too. And I have this beautiful equation. So system of equations just means more than one equation, right? So I'm just going to replace my y and my x in this equation, right? My y and my x are going to be replaced by these guys twice because I have to write two separate equations. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do 18, so I'm starting with this point right here, equals a and b, I don't know yet, so I'm going to keep those, a times b, and then to the x, my x for that one is 2. So there's one of my equations. And my second equation is going to be, I know this is so exciting, I'm going to use 4 and 162. So sorry, I should have kept that color consistent on that last one. I don't know what I was doing. I chose gray for some reason. So let's pick orange here. So 162 is my y value. So that goes here. And then equals a times b. So again, I'm looking at this right here, guys. And then my x value is 4 in this one. So to the 4th. So there we go. There's our two equations. Let me go ahead and stick some turquoise on this one because it's feeling sad because I did not color code it correctly. Okay, so there we go. So there's our two equations, done. Letter B says solve for a and b in one equation. Then substitute into the other equation. A or B, so it's your choice. So I would say it's going to be easier. First of all, this blue one has much smaller numbers. So let's use that one. And we're going to solve for A because A is already by itself. It doesn't have a square with it or anything. So it's kind of lovely. So we're going to keep A alone, right? So I'm going to solve for A here. So think, if I want to get A by itself in that equation, all I need to do is get rid of the B squared. So I need to divide both sides by B squared because right there it's multiplied, yeah, by A. So I'm just going to rewrite it like so. And that is solving for A. Done. Then substitute that value into the other equation. So now I'm going to take, and I'm going to plug in, right, to the orange equation. So my other equation is this guy right here, right? It's going to come down here. And I'm going to rewrite my 162 equals, this time I know that A is equal to this amount right here. Even though it's not a number, I can still substitute that in, right? So I'm going to put my 18 over b squared in place of A. And you will understand hopefully in a moment why I'm doing this. And then this is times b to the 4th is right here, b. And actually I'm going to write it a little small just so you can see what's going on. And then it's to the 4th, right? Okay, so now, look guys, I have b to the 4th and b squared. And this b to the 4th is really understood to be with a 1 under it, right? So look, you can use your little properties of exponents here. Cross off this b squared. That would leave us 2 of those there, right? And then I can go ahead and solve for b. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let me fix that. So actually, solve for b. Yeah? Okay, so let's solve for b. So that's what I was starting to do. So let me just recopy it. 162 equals, I have 18 over b squared times b to the fourth, right? Now, I'm going to be able to, you already saw this, so deja vu, cross off at least, or a b squared, and this one changes to a 2. And then I'm going to be able to solve this, right? So I'm going to be able to go like this. Sorry, let me get rid of my red here. Make it black. 162 equals 18b squared. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 18. So I'm just solving for b, right? Divide both sides by 18 over 18 over 18. Cross that off. How many times does 18, how many times can we divide that? So, and it is 9. So b squared equals 9. B squared equals 9, which is great because now we know that b is, hopefully you're already saying it out loud, 3 or negative 3, but for this one we're going to go ahead and just use the positive version, okay? So b equals 3, and b was supposed to be purple, Heather. What are you doing? Let me fix that. I'm messing up all my colors tonight. Sorry, guys. So b is 3. Okay, now we can find a now because we know that b is 3, right? So if I go back up here, do you guys see where I had solved for a? Right? Sorry, make my arrow better. Right? So I'm going to be able to find that a value because I can just substitute that 3 in right there, right? So that's going to be 18 over 3 squared. I'm going to write that kind of small right here because I know this is getting super messy. And then equals a, right? So a squared, you guys remember, was 9. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So a's value is going to be 2. So I know that's a lot. Pause whenever you need to. Go back and watch it again. That's super important, and it's actually not that bad if you just take your time. Okay, so I know a is 2 and b is 3. All right, next step is going to be write the final equation. So a was 2. B was 3. And remember, we knew ordered pairs from this, but we want to write an equation. So when we want to write an equation, we need to keep x and y in it, right? X and y in it. So I want to rewrite my y equals a times b to the x power, and the only thing I'm going to replace is the 2 and the 3, right? So my a and my b. So my new equation is going to be y equals 2 times 3 to the x power. Dun da da da, totally done. Okay, fun fact number 1. I have 2 dogs, and my dogs' names are Ollie, I'm going to write it down so you know how to spell it, and Astro. And I'm obsessed with dogs. I love them so much, sometimes more than humans. They're pretty awesome. So that's fun fact number 1. Okay. Last thing, we are going to do a problem that involves half-life of sodium 25. It's approximately a minute, so this is really nice. So my time in minutes I already have laid out for you. 0 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And then we're going to begin with 36 grams, which is why that starting amount right there says 36, okay? And then notice that half-life means it's decreasing by half its amount every minute. So if I'm at 18, then when the next minute, I'm going to be at 9, right? Then I'm going to be at 4.5. Then I'm going to be at 2.25 grams. Make sure you don't forget your decimal. And then I'm going to be at 1.125 grams. And then half of that, 0.563 grams, and then it'll eventually decay to nothing, right? So to a stable isotope. So we're going to write an exponential equation based on this, right? So we're going to find this using the information in the chart right here. So think about what we did a second ago. I'm going to go back. Step 1 was to write a system of equations using 2 of the ordered pairs. So remember we had 2 ordered pairs right here, guys, yeah? So I'm just going to pick 2 from the equation that would be easy for me. And then I'm going to solve for A or B and figure out each one. Okay? So I'm going to pick 2 ordered pairs. That's my first step. Right? Okay, so from the chart, I'm definitely going to pick 0, 36, because that is just going to be way too easy not to use, right? And then the other one, it really doesn't matter, you guys. I think I'm going to just choose 2, 9, because why not, right? So notice that that is, even though it's t, that's taking the place of x, right? Because it's s of t, so that's my input-output. So this is xy and xy, and I'm not going to color code quite as much this time, just so I can go a little quicker for you guys. Okay, so from here, I want to find either the a value or the b value using our handy-dandy equation right here, right? So I want to substitute in these ordered pairs first. So remember that s of t is really equal to y, okay? So I'm going to say, write 2 equations, right? The first one's going to be using the 36 and the 0. So 36 equals a times b to the 0 power. And then the second one is going to be 9 equals a times b to the 9th power. Oh, I just messed that up. To the 2nd power. Sorry, x value. Right? So let me highlight for you guys really fast just to make sure you're following me. So I use this ordered pair, right, with the equation that's highlighted in yellow, and I plugged it in right here, okay? And then I used this ordered pair, 2, 9, and here it is right here, same equation in yellow right here, right? So I'm using the a times b to the t for both of them, okay? Once I have those 2 equations, do you guys see how amazing this is? Watch. The reason I picked 0 as my point is because anything to the 0 power, hopefully you guys remember, that that's just 1, right? So do you see that we already have what a is equal to here, right? That's a times 1. So we know that a is going to equal 36. It doesn't matter if you use capital or lowercase. Let me keep it consistent for you guys just so I don't confuse you. A equals 36. Okay, so you're done with that part. So cool. And then we can take that and substitute it in right here so that we can find b, right? Don't plug it back into the same one because then you're just going to get 36 equals 36. So make sure you use that second equation over there, okay? So I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm using the green one now. It's 9 equals, I know that a is 36, right? And then b squared is this one right here, okay? Okay, so now I just want to solve for b, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by 36. And that is equal to, write this as a fraction, not a decimal, you guys. I just feel like it's going to give us a prettier answer for some reason. I guess you could write it as a decimal if you really want to. But I'm going to write this as 1/4, right? Because 9 over 36 is 1/4 if you divide them both by 9. And that's equal to b squared. And then remember to undo a square root, we just take the square root of both sides. And the square root of 1/4 is 1/2 because the square root of 1 is 1 and the square root of 4 is 4. So b's value is going to equal, I'm going to do it in purple, 1/2. Right? Beautiful. So then once we have that, do you guys remember what our next step was? Do you remember? Let's go back. So solve for b and find a was step C. I already did that. Step D was write the final equation, which needs to be in the form y equals a times b to the x. So I'm going to squeeze this on this page since I know a and b are my purple and my orange guys down there, right? I know that I want this equation to be correct, so I'm going to just bring it up here. And I'm going to have s of t equals my a value, which is 36. And my b value, which was 0.5 or 1/2, however you want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2 and put it in parentheses, like so. And then it's raised to the t, which is really x, but t because it's time, right? So that is your equation there for this half-life of a minute for sodium. Okay, so that's 2 examples. Last fact is that my dogs, Ollie and Astro, are crazy. Ollie's favorite thing is to beg for food all the time. And Astro's favorite thing is to try to hug people like a human. He'll reach his arms out and try to get really close to you and put his arms up on his shoulders. So I'm going to ask you guys those two questions to make sure you really watch the video. So know my dog's names, Ollie and Astro, and know that Astro loves to hug and Ollie loves to beg for food. Okay, have a great night.